Welcome to Timbo Talks, a weekly podcast about work and play. I'm your host, Tim. This week I want to talk about a subject near and dear to my heart, and that is ideas, or specifically where to find them. This is important to consider because a lot of things we do at work today can be easily replicated by software, but the generation of ideas is something humans excel at the moment. And I'm not really convinced that machines can actually come up with ideas. They can certainly filter massive amounts of data, but the creative spark is still very much down to human beings. Unfortunately, though, we have created an environment, a mental environment, if you like, that stifles new ideas. And I'm not sure if it's by design or it's just a function of the way we communicate now, but the platforms that we use to connect with each other via our smartphone or laptop, there's something about them that stifles new ideas. In a way, they really favour the status quo. Imagine the social platforms that we use to connect with each other. Imagine them as concrete on the sidewalk. So concrete is strong, it's cohesive, it's good to walk on, it's stable, but it's all the same. It's one great big grey solid mass. So what I like to do personally when I have to come up with ideas, I get away from the laptop. I put the smartphone in my pocket or in my top drawer and I go for a walk. And the interesting thing about that process is as I'm walking and I'm looking at the sidewalk, the concrete sidewalk, I can see little cracks appearing in the concrete, and through those cracks, poking up through the concrete, are little weeds, little green shoots. Now the council will every few weeks come along and spray those weeds and kill them. But weeds, despite what we've been told, aren't really a blight. If there's weeds, it's really nature's way of trying to repair dead soil. So the soil that has been concreted over is suppressing the weeds. And that's the same with our digital environment today. If we're always staring at a screen, we won't find new ideas, or specifically, those ideas won't find us. But those ideas are there. They are trying to push through the concrete. And over time, you'll see that concrete crack so these ideas can come through. So my recommendation to you, dear listener, is if it's your responsibility or your task to come up with new ideas, is to really remove yourself from the constant chatter of, it could be email, it could be Slack, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Now we have Zoom meetings as well, which is interesting because there's a cliched idea out there, which I think is false, is that you can come up with good ideas at an ideas meeting. Now, I never really believed that myself, but at least before the age of Zoom, when you were sitting around a table with people and interacting with them face to face, there probably was more chance of coming up with an idea. But I question whether you could actually come up with an original idea while on a Zoom meeting. I'd be happy to hear a contrary take on that, by the way. So it may not involve just walking around the block or getting away from the computer. You could just simply go to another room where there isn't a device and you just have a pencil and a notepad and you sketch ideas down. I firmly believe if you can't present your idea as a little thumbnail sketch on a piece of paper using a pencil, the idea probably isn't worth anything. A good idea will have power in its crudest form. Sitting down to Photoshop or Illustrator or opening Word or Google Docs, that should actually come afterwards. There's a great paradox to this discussion. The more people that come online and the more people that get connected, via social media, whatever the platform of the day is. They're looking for new content. They're looking for novelty. They're looking to experience something they haven't experienced before. But over time, these platforms lean towards a sense of sameness. I mean, if you don't believe me, just open LinkedIn and scroll through your newsfeed. You'll see most posts actually look like all the other posts, but one that doesn't look like anything else, your thumb will stop scrolling. So for you to get away from the computer, from the phone, from the machine, with your pencil, with your notepad, to come up with ideas, when you come back to the platform to communicate with your users and your audience, the chances are the idea that you will bring to the table will be fresh and unique because it hasn't been filtered through the social media algorithm or all the content that you're seeing. So my recommendation to you is to actually get away from the machine, get back to a state, create an environment for yourself where this spark of creativity can actually push through the concrete of sameness, like those little weeds pushing up through the cracks in the pavement. Thank you for listening to Timbo Talks. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe on Spotify or YouTube. Alternatively, use your favourite podcast app to find Timbo Talks. You can also find me on Twitter or Instagram as Timbo Horan. That's TimboHoran. Until next time.